Fresh is the word.
Welcome to the Fresh is the Word podcast. My name is K Fresh. This is the final edition of Fresh is the Word for the year 2015. Thank you for listening each and every week. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for any feedback. Thanks for everything. We have a lot of great shit coming up in the upcoming weeks and months. For this final edition for 2015, I got an old Detroit homie of mine, Detroit hip-hop MC Phat Kat, a.k.a. Ronnie Cash, a.k.a. Ronnie Euro. Right now, Phat Kat's out in Europe with Guilty Simpson Super MC touring. And recently, he released a new album called The Rededication to Suckers, produced entirely by this London-based producer, Agor, which we'll get into in the actual interview. So it was great to talk with an old school homie. He's one of the first dudes in this hip-hop scene to really fuck with me back in the day. So let's get to the interview with Phat Kat. Okay, throughout all these years, we've known each other for a long time, and I feel like you were one of the first people, back when I was doing the Renaissance Soul website.
Right.
You understood what I was doing.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm always, trying to be ahead of the curve, with everything I do, and I just saw where, music was going. Instead of, the whole physical thing, I just knew that everything was going digital. Like Dave Chappelle said, a piss was digital. Shit is digital, yo.
Yeah, it was funny at that time. I was just like, everybody was like, I always had this feeling where like, oh, there's Kelly K Fresh with this cute little website. But you understood what it was about,
Yeah, man, definitely. I understood what it was about. I understood that shit. That was the new currency, so... You got to be ahead of the curve.
It was funny, though. It wasn't until, like, MySpace hit that all of a sudden rappers got, like computer savvy.
Right. Yeah, that's about true. But, shit. Even before MySpace, remember you was hooking up the Phat Kat website.
Yeah, we did RonnieCash.com.
Yeah, RonnieCash.com.
Yeah, and we did, and then we were selling CDs we totally pressed up our own CDs.
Yeah.
Re-releasing Dedication to the Suckers and the First Down Project.
Right.
And we were doing really good numbers.
Yeah, man. People don't even know, man. We was getting money off of fucking CDs and shit way before the internet was even popular, man.
It was literally just me and you, and we were probably almost getting the same numbers that your record company that you were assigned to was.
Clearly. That shit is unheard of, man. I mean, but that's just the whole thing of being ahead of the curve, man. So we got to reap the benefits before the shit got popular. You know what I mean?
Right. All right. Let's rewind it back to, just how you got started into, hip hop. What was, when did you just first have that inkling that you wanted to be a rapper?
Well, it first started after, it first started after I fucking went to the Fresh Fest. And that was a concert way back in the 80s with, Houdini, Run DMC, and the Fat Boys, Curtis Blow, New York City Breakers.
Yeah, back when they had those larger than life hip hop festivals,
huge ass rap concerts at Joe Louis. So, yeah, man, I went to that shit. I got that I got a ticket for my 8th grade graduation and shit. So I went to the Fresh Fest and, I seen how shit was going down, man, and I was bit by the bug. Like, damn, man, I think I want to do that.
Great. What did you do first? Like, who were your influences at that time? Like, who did you want to be like?
Well, I never really wanted to be like anybody. I just wanted to be the best me. But, I definitely, honed all the greats, like the Rakims, the KRS-Ones, just all the greats, man. I just took a page out of everybody's book, man. Big Daddy Kane's and, all those guys, man. Like, it just blew my mind. So I just knew what I wanted to do after that. Just listening to them and trying to perfect my own craft.
Right. Yeah, you, Phat Kat, were a part of that, pre Eminem, Slim Shady, LP kind of the boom before that. The golden age of just like street Detroit hip hop.
Yeah,
the small
definitely.
little clubs, the small little spots, hip hop shop. How did you get introduced into that scene?
Well, I got hip to the whole. We had a place called the Rhythm Kitchen,
Yeah.
Stanley's, and I knew Proof from off the east side, and he used to host the Rhythm Kitchen, and shit, we went up there. That's where I met Dilla, Slum, all those cats. A lot of like-minded. It just was like, wow, this motherfuckers out here that really from Detroit that's really about this rap shit, and because I was from the east side, so it was a total difference. It was, hood gangster rap and hip hop, and I was like caught between that. I was like straddling the fence because a lot of cats like my style of rap, but the like the music, like sonically wise, cats used to be like, man, that shit cool, man, but that shit sound like jazz, man. You rapping over jazz, you know what I mean? And I used to be like, what the fuck is y'all talking about, man? This shit is dope. And that's how I really was in Detroit, man. A lot of cats didn't really catch on to what we was doing back then, because they looked at like real hip hop was like, oh man, you're trying to sound like New York, or that shit cool, man, but kick some gangster shit, you know what I mean? And
Right.
that's just how it was back in the day, man.
For people that might not understand, it doesn't matter if it was hip hop stuff or dance music stuff, electronic stuff. There was a difference between the east side and the west side.
Fuck yeah.
Describe that difference.
I mean, the east side was shit. The east side was like Compton, yo, like some real hood shit, man. Fucking that's where crack touched down at, man. Crack the east side was ground zero for crack. You know what I mean? And it just, spread it throughout the city, but it just was it's a total difference, like how people would say motherfuckers would be like, motherfuckers on the east side rent and motherfuckers on the west side own they shit. You know what I'm saying? It just was and still like today, a lot of people from the east side never fucking been on the west side. And vice versa. A lot of people from the west side never been to the east side of Detroit. So it was just cool because I got both spectrums of both sides of the whole thing. Because when I moved west in 1990, it was like, I was like, damn, it's cool over here. I ain't really gotta worry about getting shot at or no shit. It was kind of cool when I first moved over to the west side, but yeah, it was some ill shit, man, going on back then.
Right. And before there was Jay Dilla, before there was Slum Village, there was First Down. It was you and Jay Dee.
Definitely.
You guys put out a single on Payday.
Yep. The first cats out of Detroit to get a major record deal through Payday. It was a subsidiary through Polygram. And I fucking met Gangstar on the east side at an in-store, Chantonique Records. They came in, and I happened to be in there because I was copping. It was a Tuesday, so I was copping their new record. That was when records came out on Tuesday. So I was in the store copping a new record, and
Was that when Hard Earned came out?
exactly,
Yeah.
the Hard to Earn album. And they came in to do an in-store, and I just happened to be in there buying a record. So I'm like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Let's fucking Gangstar or whatever. I'm like, yo, man, I'm in here buying y'all shit. Shit is dope, man. You know what I'm saying? And the lady that owns the store, she's like, yo, did he tell you he can rap or whatever? They like, nah. You know, she just put me on the spot. So it was like, man, you rap or whatever? I'm like, yeah. Like, you got something we can hear? So I went to the car and got the cassette. You heard what I said, right?
Yeah, cassette.
Yeah, so I went to the car and got the cassette, and shit, came back, threw it in. They heard Front Street and Day with the Homies, and fucking rest was history. Record deal.
How did that First Down project get started?
Well, how did the whole process?
Yeah, how did it form to begin with before any of the the in-store meet with Gangstar happened?
Okay.
How did you guys get around to how did you meet Dilla and be like, yo, let's knock out some joints?
Well, I met Dilla at the Rhythm Kitchen.
Yeah.
That's where all the hip hop dudes was. That's where we would go, to congregate and test your skills on the mic. So we would go there and shit, and I met Dilla there, and we formed a camaraderie, and shit, we just started recording shit, and that shit happened, and like I say, I had a demo, but I was gonna send it because what I used to do and shit, like back in the day, I used to look at all the fucking like cassette cover, the back of the records and shit. And
right.
Write down the names of the companies and Payday was one of the motherfuckers I was gonna send, the demo to, and shit just was like some divine intervention, man. Fucking Gangstar walked in, and like I say, man, the rest was fucking history. It was like all the stars was lined up.
Right, Payday had a heavy lineup at that time.
Fuck yeah, man. They had fucking Group Home, J. Rue, Showbiz AG. They had a group called UTD. That was with Mos Def and a female or some shit. WC Mass Circle. Someone else. Jay-Z.
Yeah, Jay-Z was on there earlier.
They had the Jigga Man. Jigga Man was on there.
Didn't OC put out his second album? Yeah.
Yep. They had the lineup was. They had a heavy lineup, and I was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like they put out a compilation called Payday Reppin' the Streets or whatever, and I'm looking at that shit like, damn, all these motherfuckers on here, and we on this motherfucker, so that's dope. You know what I mean? Like motherfuckers really getting it.
How come nothing more came about the situation with that?
Fucking glitter.
Yeah, you were telling me about that one time, man.
Glitter. Glitter, man. When Mariah Carey dropped that glitter shit, a lot of motherfuckers from Virgin was getting the axe. And shit. Payday was one of them, man. You know what I mean? That glitter shit fucked the game up, yo.
All right. After that time, is a few years later, you would eventually do the dedication to the Suckers.
Yeah.
12-inch.
Right. The dedication to the Suckers 12-inch was actually supposed to be songs for the full length for the first. It was supposed to be actually songs for the full length of the First Down album, but like I said, Payday folded, so that shit never happened, and kind of like you didn't really understand the game like that back then, so we was feeling kind of like slighted a little bit, so that was the whole dedication to the Suckers thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, motherfuckers fronted, you know what I mean? But motherfuckers really didn't front. Shit, the label folded. That's what happened. But, being young and headstrong, you know what I mean? You thinking like, oh, man, the world against us, man. So, yeah, let's show everybody or whatever. And that was the whole thing with the whole dedication to the Suckers.
Yeah, I remember you telling me a story about, just going in and recording them tracks. Like, you guys just did it, like, in a day or something.
Yeah, we actually did it in a night, like a couple hours. Dilla called me over to the crib, and it was like 11, like around, I say like 9, between 9 and 10. And shit, he had the beats loaded up, and he had just hit record and go upstairs and come back down. Like, you done? Yeah, I just laid the verses, just like that shit was done in a few hours, man. Like the whole project was done in a couple hours. It was done before it was time for him to go to the strip club. And the strip club get to popping around, 12 or 1. So we started like between 9 and 10. And shit, I was back at the crib by midnight. And he called me at 4 or 5 in the morning and just, put the phone to the speakers, and I'm hearing this is dedicated fake sucker. So I'm hearing the cuts and shit, because I mean we was like so competitive back then, but we just always wanted to outdo everybody else. And like that was the first song, that was the first time Dilla really like would cut a sentence, out of cuts.
Yeah.
And he was, I mean, Primo was the man with that shit. And I'm like, yo, man, you gotta kill that. You know what I mean? And that was his whole way of like I'm fucking with Primo.
See, yeah, that's one thing. Like Dilla could do that. No one really, knew that he could, get down and start cutting.
Yeah, because he didn't used to do that shit, but he just used to master everything. You know what I mean? And when he done that shit, I'm like, bro, you got it.
Okay, with that release, came out on How She Was Recordings, and automatically, a Japanese distributing company just grabbed the first 5,000.
We didn't even have 5,000.
But they wanted the first 5,000.
Yeah, and we didn't even. They heard the shit because we just sent out. We pressed up like I think like a couple hundred, 700 white labels, and sent them out. To DJs or whatever, blah blah blah, and the shit fucking it got all the way over to Japan, and They got a whiff of it. Fat Beats wanted a couple of hundred, and then the guys from Japan, they heard this shit, so they was like, we want 5,000 of them, and we didn't even have 5,000, so they was like, okay, we'll send you the money to press them up, but we want them, and that shit went down like that. Pete Rock was in fucking Japan. He listening to the shit, and it was the phone number on the record. He calls the phone number on the record and leave a message like, "Yo, this Pete Rock, man. I'm in Japan, man. I just got this record, blah blah blah. This my number, blah blah blah. Call me back and shit." I'm like, "Damn, fucking Pete Rock making a song, brother." So I'm like, "Damn." So I call him back and shit, and he fucking tripping. He like, "Yo, man, get on the fucking plane, man. Come out here and fuck with me or whatever." So I get on the plane and go out to New York and kick it with Pete for a couple days and shit. Just was crazy, man. And shit, we've been rocking ever since, man.
How was it at that time in your career just to go hang out with Pete Rock?
I mean, it was cool, man. I mean, I've never been a starstruck type of dude.
Oh, I know you haven't. I know you haven't.
I mean, I just treat everybody, accordingly. I treat everybody the same. No matter if you the fucking president or if you a fucking homeless motherfucker on the street, you're still a person. So I just treat everybody the same, man. I mean, we just clicked and shit. We just hung out, smoked, went through records and shit. He playing me shit. We just kicked it.
Okay, and then around that time also, this is also the time when you're in a label situation also with Rock Records. When did that start?
Well, I didn't link up with Barack Records until after the whole after the Payday thing didn't go through. So I was always touring with Slum Village, and that's how that situation came about. You know, because I already had like a gang of songs or whatever, and Slum was with Barack, and that's how I ended up getting signed with Barack.
And I know at one point, through Barack, they got you signed to Virgin. Was Virgin the only label that you were signed with at a time, or were you bouncing back with any other labels?
No, well, I was signed to Virgin before Barack. Records.
Okay, all right.
Tim Maynard, he used to manage Slum Village, and he manages Dwelle and a few other artists, and he because Dwelle was already at Virgin, and a guy named Nigel Wildman, he was at Virgin, the A&R.
Yeah.
And he was like a big fan of my shit, and that got the ball rolling, and that what got me signed to Virgin UK.
What happened with that situation?
The label folded.
Right.
And they started trimming the fat, and Nigel was one of the guys that caught the axe, and he was the guy that signed me, and that was before I even turned in the album. So like I got all this fucking bread and a free album, you know what I mean? So, and that's how the Undeniable came about, because it was supposed to come out on Virgin, and that's how that came about, because I wasn't with a label after Virgin, so we signed. We did it through the Barack pipeline.
I bet RJ loved that you already had an album ready.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did.
That he didn't have to pay for it anyway.
He didn't have to pay for it. It was already done.
It's already done.
Gave him flat. Bam, there you go.
But I hear it so often where the A&R guy that got you in the door, they get fired, and then the artist just doesn't have any standing in the label anymore. I hear that so much.
You don't have anybody there to fight for you. And shit, half of these people, like back then, half of those record guys didn't know what the fuck hip hop was really even about. You know what I mean?
That was crazy at that time, because around that time was that was like the hotbed of like the indie hip hop era.
Yeah.
But still, nobody in the industry understood it, because you had only
because you didn't know how to market it.
Yeah, you only had X amount of people that understood how to do it, and they were doing it themselves.
Exactly. So when you get a major label will give you some bread, but yeah, you got money, but they don't know what to do with your fucking record now. You know what I mean? So that shit just fall by the wayside.
Yeah, and that was a problem that a lot of Detroit cats were having.
Yep.
Once the whole post Eminem thing happened,
Yep.
They were snatching up Detroit cats, but they were like, what do we do with these guys? Or they got something different than they expected,
Yeah, like what the...
Like the Detroit cats were like, okay, I know what I'm going to do. We're going to just it's going to be so much better than those demos that they heard, blah, blah, blah. We're going to give them this. We're going to get it done in time, early. It's going to be quality. We're not going to go over budget. Boom, here, we did everything better than you wanted it to be.
Then we're like,
I don't know
what you want to do. What are we supposed to do with it?
What were you supposed to do with this,
Yeah, you say it's good, but shit, I don't know.
Then they always point to somebody that's hot on the radio. Can you make something like that?
Oh my God! Oh my goodness!
Wait! This is hilarious. Wait, what are some of the examples of people that have told you that you should make records like?
Ja Rule, fucking. Oh man, this been.
I feel like Chingy comes up a lot for some reason.
Yep.
Chingy was somebody that everybody referenced.
No, but I used to when I was over at Barack, man. RJ, man, that's a funny dude, man. That's my dude, man. I learned a lot from him, man. But he was fucking hilarious, bro. Like we'd be I'd be in the studio record. He'd poke his little head in there. He'd come in like, Man, you need to put that Ja Rule on there, Cat. You need to sound like, man, you need to sing on that sucker, man. You just want me to just be like Jay, man.
I remember those days,
Let
man.
it out, man.
He'd be like, come on, Cat, come on, Cat, come on, Cat. You gotta make me a record like Chingy.
Yeah,
you
got
Chingy.
I want to hear some Chingy, man.
I want some Chingy.
Y'all on that hip hop stuff, man. Man.
No, I need you to make me some hits right now.
I need some hits, man. Chingy got hits. You got to get some little Chingaling, Cat. It's crazy, yo.
And I hear that, but it's funny, like, during that time, how many people would, like, reference Chingy to, like, managers and
yeah, man.
label
I mean, because
people.
When you mention Chingy or Nelly or anybody like that, shit, management seen dollar signs like shit. I want that Nelly check.
It's crazy that somebody you know what's funny about Chingy? And he's probably a nice guy. I've never met him, and I'm not trying to like rag on him or anything, but like a friend of mine who like she's on like Twitter or whatever, she said that like Chingy will be in Australia like every 6 months. You know?
Yeah, man.
He's
Chingy still getting them Chingaling checks.
Right, man.
Getting that Chingaling.
It's crazy that in the rap world, like you can be over in the States, but as long as you had a few hits,
oh yeah,
you can go anywhere around the world.
Hey man, I'm living proof, bro.
You can go anywhere for the rest of your life.
Fuck yeah, man. I mean, shit.
You might not have a career in the States anymore. No one could give a fuck about
man, listen.
But Australia will still fuck with you 15 years later.
Yep.
Japan will still fuck with you.
Japan, you sell out in Japan. Fucking Australia, Budapest. Yo, man, shit is popping in Europe, man. I love it.
All right, let's talk about your situation with Barack. You did put out some records on that. How did you feel about that situation looking back?
I mean, looking back, I look just from knowing what I know now, it was stuff could have been done like better, but I mean, I guess they was only doing what they could do. You know what I mean? Like, far as it was a lot of corner cutting. You know what I mean? Far as getting stuff to the masses, and it just was like, I mean, they only did what they could do. You know what I mean? But I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot, and that's why I'm still here, because I learned from watching stuff over there.
You learned the good and the bad.
The good and the bad. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't change anything, because I was, it was I mean, knowledge is priceless. That's the new currency. You know what I mean? It pay to be ignorant. So I learned a lot over there.
Yeah, I was around there for a few years because I was doing the web design for RJ, and so I understand some of the shortcomings of them, and we've all had our butted heads with RJ. Definitely butted heads with RJ before.
For sure.
Even I did a few years ago.
Damn.
Even recently, a couple years ago.
Oh no.
I butted heads with him at the last Dilla day at the Fillmore a couple years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I don't even know how that. I was already arguing with somebody else.
And K-Fresh talking down on me, man.
And that's literally what he just said. He said, man, and then
wow.
And I was already arguing with somebody else, and then he came up, and my argument kind of shifted seamlessly to him, and then I'm drunk too, man, because they had those like really cheap Dilla themed Hennessy drinks there, and I'm already like having a heated discussion with somebody else, and then he comes along, and we're like,
I know you've been talking down on me, K-Fresh.
Oh, he's like, I know you. I don't even want to talk to you, man. You've been talking a lot of trash. And I'm just like, I was so drunk that I became just unfiltered, and I think I said everything I've ever wanted to say to him. And he said some shit back that I don't even really want to repeat. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Did you just say that shit?
I can imagine, bro. I can imagine.
I'm like, how would your artists feel if they heard what you just said to me? But it's here no there, whatever, It's whatever,
Exactly. I learned a lot over there, man. And it made me more knowledgeable and want to be more hands-on with everything. You know what I mean? I need to know where all my money at and where it's going, and who's getting it, how much they getting, and what's the return on everything. I need to check everything.
So after you left the Brock situation, what did you do next?
I was just touring and shit. Just touring, doing a lot of shit in Europe, and I got a call from this guy Keith out in San Francisco. He had a label called Look Records. He was just starting to put together, and he had and he was like, "Yo, man, what the fuck? We need to work." You know what I mean? He already had. He just did a situation with AG, and shit. He was like, "Yo, man, I wanna work, man. I wanna put a record out or whatever." So.
Yeah, and that's carte blanche.
Exactly. That was the carte blanche. You know what I mean? Shit.
They had one of the coldest Dilla productions on there ever, Cold Steel.
Fuck yeah, man. That's the shit right there.
That was such a cold beat.
Yeah, man. That was one of my favorite joints that he ever did. That should just make you want to drive fast. It was like, I don't know, man. That beat just, I always find myself speeding when I used to listen to that beat. So I'm like, damn, that shit is fucking crazy.
During that time, how did that situation, pan out?
The whole
like Carte Blanche album. How did that,
Yeah, that shit was dope, man. Fucking they flew me out to San Francisco. I lived out there for a minute, recording, just kicking it. Met a lot of cool fucking people. Shit, money was good. Shit, I was out in the Bay living, putting the record out, and it was good times over there, man. It was good times.
Okay, since then, what have you been doing since that album?
I've been fucking chilling, man. I've been chilling, touring, still touring. I'm always touring.
Yeah, 'cause we haven't heard, that much out of you since that album.
Well, I still do a lot of features. I do a lot of features and shit with European cats, and I just been on the road still, man. I'm still in Europe.
Yeah, Ronnie Euro.
Euros, man. Just
Ronnie Euro.
Pretty much, just doing that shit. And still been recording, but I've been out just looking for the right sound, looking for my sound, and that's what really took me so long, to really put something else out, and just the whole climate of music, man. I wasn't really feeling none of this shit, and I didn't think what I was doing would even fit in what's going on now. So,
but that's an interesting thing though, because I feel like hip hop is finally solidified in this maturation period right now,
right?
Where it's not just a young person's game anymore.
Yeah.
And there is this the older folks who grew up listening to hip hop. Their kids have graduated college now. So they can spend money on hip hop again, and hip hop shows and stuff.
Go see some grown ass man rap.
Yeah, and you got like the Roots on late night TV.
Yeah,
you got so many like examples of where hip hop is a grown thing now.
Yeah, man, it's some grown shit, man. You can
Shit, Scarface just came out with the album, one of the best of his career.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Incredible.
I'm bumping that shit so hard right now, man. It's a beautiful thing, and you know, like stuff like that, and just touring, and just seeing the fans, you know, that's what really motivated me to really want to come back and put another project out, because you know, it's really for my fans. You know what I mean? They wanted the shit, because I'm cool, man. I'm cool with just being me, man. I like chilling, man, being a regular guy. But
Wait, what does Phat Kat do as being a regular guy?
I fucking shit. I play golf. I watch a lot of fucking Politics Nation and shit like that. I take my nieces to school in the morning, pick them up. You know what I mean? I just like doing regular shit, man. I like doing laundry. I like to cook.
But also, man, you know, you've lost some weight from
man.
before
Man.
You're not as big as you used to be.
Yeah, man, that's hilarious. I mean, it just changed my, workout. I hit the gym every morning and shit, get my 5 miles in.
And you sound better on the mic, both,
Yeah, I mean,
on song and live, too.
It's total.
Now.
It's a total difference, and I could tell, like, when I'm performing and like when I'm in the booth, just far as like breath control. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the first time I saw
difference.
you after you lost a bunch of weight, and I saw you perform once, I was like, dog, he sounds better than ever up there, man.
Yeah, man. I feel great, man. You know, it's a good time right now, man.
All right, you've definitely had a long relationship professionally with Dilla when he was still alive.
Definitely.
Like you guys, were like the the guru and premier.
Pretty much.
Of Detroit.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
And I know that even me and you have had words before in regards to the way this legacy is.
Fuck yeah.
Because it's such like a clusterfuck of just. But I think it's because we are all so emotional about it.
Right.
That sometimes we all cross the line.
Definitely.
About what we say and whatnot.
Yeah, and my whole thing, about all that, the whole Dilla thing as a whole, just out of respect, you know what I mean? I just chose just to fall back, you know what I mean? Because if you ain't got shit good to say, just shut the fuck up, you know what I mean? And I guess my silence speaks volumes, you know what I mean? So
yeah, for a while I was just saying stuff all the time, but then I was just like, you know what? I just don't care anymore. I don't really want to talk to these people over here.
Right.
It's not doing any good. They're going to do what they want to do anyways.
Exactly.
I'm still very critical about it,
Yeah.
But I'm not just going to go out of my way and just speak about it every single day or whatnot,
Yeah.
But it's just like I just want to. I almost think about it as something in regards to religion, having your own personal relationship with God,
yeah, man.
Instead of like fucking with an organized religion.
Yeah, man.
I want to have my own personal relationship with Dilla's music because I didn't have a relationship with him, the man.
Right.
I maybe had 5 good conversations with him when he was alive, and sometimes he was weird,
Yeah, I mean, Dilla,
he was weird. He was nice at other times. Sometimes he was just fucking weird.
Yeah, you just had to really know him. You know what I mean? And
just like any other Detroit cat. Sometimes they're a dick. Sometimes they're cool.
Yeah.
And he was.
Damn, I'm a dick sometimes.
I don't think you've ever been a dick, but you could probably be a dick.
Yeah, I'm sure I could be.
But you're probably never a dick to me.
Nah, man.
But I'm just saying in general, all Detroit cats, especially in the hip hop scene, can be a dick at. You can't help it,
Yeah.
You can't help it. But with Dilla, I had a relationship with his music,
right.
And then I went online and just, cataloged his music, did all the research,
Yep.
talked to who I needed to do, and just, spread his music out because I had a relationship with the music,
right.
not
right.
him, So after he passed, and I saw that the music was kind of like. Not getting the sort of attention to detail that it deserves, I was just like, I don't like this,
Right.
And I don't like the way these people are talking about it and handling their detractors, you know? I mean, there can be criticism, but when you come back being more negative about a situation,
Right.
it's as the person who's, heading something, it's not going to do anyone good, you know?
Hell no.
And I felt like nothing was like really, a lot of stuff just wasn't handled like properly. Everybody was so eager to get their like Dilla brownie points.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. You know, with me, I never been on that whole tip because shit. If you know me, you know how me and Dilla rocked. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't. I know my mans, and I know that a lot of the way things was being handled. I know he wouldn't, sit cool with that shit, and I really couldn't be a part of it. You know what I mean?
It's just crazy that like his legacy, the way his music's handled, has been handled in such a different manner than anybody else that's passed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
and it's really a lesson to be learned.
Yeah,
for
sure.
people to definitely get your business in order.
Yeah.
At all times. So if you pass,
right,
your music will be in the right hands.
Yeah.
If you even if you don't want it released or anything after you release, or you pass away.
And that's my whole thing. Just me knowing what I know. A lot of shit wouldn't be out right now. You know what I mean? It wouldn't, like, a lot of this Dilla shit would not be fucking seeing the light of day right now because a lot of that shit is not fucking finished. You know what I mean? I mean, the stuff that you would rap over from Dilla, it would not be the same. The shit won't sound the same when it's done. After he get through with it, that beat that you rapped over, it won't be that fucking beat.
Right.
A lot of that shit is just shells, and that's what a lot of his fans really don't know. But the shit might sound cool to y'all, but
yeah, those were just beginning ideas.
Yeah, man, that shit, and I know that. You know what I'm saying? So I can't do that, man.
Yeah, everybody who's worked close with Dilla would say that they'd be like, y'all rapped this beat. When he sent it back, it was just like all in the space age shit.
Yeah, man.
Later,
that shit
totally
won't be
crazy.
sounding like that when by the time you hear it, after you record your vocals and Dilla get a hold of that shit, the next time you hear that motherfucking song, you're gonna be like, damn, is that the same beat? You know what I mean? So, like I say, man, a lot of shit that, cats rap over now is just shells. Unfinished. So I'm cool with that.
Right. Yeah, he definitely had he knew where he was going in his mind.
Right.
So like, yeah, that's why for us in the know, it's so emotional to see all this stuff come out, because we're like, this isn't what he would probably want.
Yeah, man.
To be out.
Pretty much.
He probably wouldn't have these sounding like that.
Yeah.
But
hey, who am I? I don't control that shit, so
right.
I just keep it moving. You know what I mean? So that's why you don't hear Phat Kat rapping over no Dilla shit.
And right, and that's great, because you had a relationship with him, both personally and musically, when he was still alive.
Yeah, definitely.
But since he's passed, you have gone and searched for your own sound.
Yeah, man.
Still.
I'm looking for the perfect beat.
And the thing is, I feel like that was the lesson that Dilla's music was trying to teach everybody, but that everybody missed.
Man,
it wasn't to sound like him.
Fuck no, man. He hated that shit, man.
It wasn't to rap over his beats.
You would be surprised all the motherfuckers that he done fell out with, bro. Like, I mean, actually call them motherfuckers like, yo, motherfucker, quit trying to sound like me. You know what I mean? He didn't
right.
call. He didn't. The shit is hilarious, man.
But I felt like I was saying, like that. I think that was the lesson. It was never displayed in words or anything, but it was this lesson that nobody totally understands or gets, is that he pushed the envelope so far that he just wanted other people to do the same in their own way.
Fuck yeah. I mean, just like when when we did the whole Game Over thing, when we heard that Diabry shit, bro, like he fucking called me like, yo man, come, you gotta come to the crib, like come right now. I'm like, what the fuck going on? So he was like, man, come man, I got some bread over here too. Come over here, man, some bread over here. So I goes over there and shit, and Tad was there, and he was working on a project, and he wanted us on there, and
right,
we going through the beach and shit. Me and Dilla going through the beach, like, damn man, this shit is fucking dumb. So we heard the Game Over track and shit, and we was like flipping. So he was like, "What you got for it?" I was like, "Shit, what you got for it?" So I went in, laid my verse, and shit. He laid his shit, and shit. Tad cut the check, and shit. I was on my way.
Yeah, Tad was telling me the story behind that record, and he was just like, "Okay, yeah, we were in the studio and doing that, and Dilla told us, can you leave me alone for a little while and everything," and he finished up the beat like just a little while later, and Tad was like, "Oh shit." But the main thing was when you guys hit the booth and actually started rapping, Tad was like, "This is exactly what I want from this record. I want cats talking about guns and stuff like that." Like that record was the blueprint for his next album,
Wow,
for that album.
That's
and
crazy.
he was just like, "This is what I wanted." He's like, he was trying to get that was the first record he did for that, I believe. And for that 2-3 album.
Yeah.
And he was just like so happy how it came up. He's like, "All right, this is like the bar right here."
Wow.
I wanted something to right off the gate to be like, "Yo, everybody else is like, okay, this is the bar. I want you guys just to just talk about stuff, whatever you want,
Right. That's
and
crazy,
he was so
man.
happy with you guys' verses that he was just like, he was just ready to go for the rest of the album, man. Like with that stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, soon as we recorded this shit, I'm like, "You good?" He like, "Man, I'm great. I'm not good. I'm great."
He was so happy with that record.
It was fun. It was fun recording that shit.
It was crazy because Game Over became just a huge staple in underground hip hop at the time, but it was also one of those things. And what year was that? Was that like 2002, 2001, 2002?
Yeah, 2001, 2002.
Yeah. That was before any of the boom of like the instrumental electronic hip hop, the Flying Lotuses of the world and stuff like that, the LA beat scenes, all the beat scenes around the world. That was before that,
It was all, like I say, man, we always was ahead of the curve.
So that record hit more different like scenes and little groups than anything else, because
definitely.
it hit the electronic cats, hit the
yeah.
hip hop cats, and they were just all going nuts over
Right.
it.
I mean,
It was such a staple and a monster at the
sonically,
time.
that shit was just crazy. Like with the organs and all that wild shit, man. I mean, it was something that I never heard before. It was the sound that I never heard.
Tad was telling me that the whole idea behind the Dabri sound was, do you remember the joint that Dilla produced for Fife, that Four Horsemen joint?
Uh-huh.
Do you know, like in the background there's that doom,
Yeah.
doom, just that little doom. That is the blueprint of of the whole Dabri sound. Like that was the seed, and then like he just built it from there.
Damn.
You know.
I never knew that.
That was like his big influence for his Dabri moniker. How all that music was gonna sound.
Dope. That's dope, man. That is dope.
But yeah, Game Over was such a monster at the time. It was just.
Yeah, I mean that's I have to do that when I perform. That's a must.
Yeah, and I remember at the same time you caught a little bit of a nice radio hit also with "It's a Rap."
Oh I forgot about that song.
No, the funny thing is, I think we all got sick of that damn song.
Yeah, man, I got sick of the fucking song when I started hearing the shit on fucking commercials and shit. I'm like, man, this shit.
Yeah, and you had to perform it every time.
Yeah, man.
I think I got so sick of it that I can't even like recollect how it goes at this point.
Dude.
I know Big Tone was on it, but I can't even in my mind. I don't even know how it goes. I don't even know how the beat goes.
Shit. I don't either.
It wasn't even a bad song. It was a dope song. It was just that.
But you know what? That was some fucking radio shit, though, man. You know, that was one of them. Man, you gotta come on now, cat. You gotta, man. We need something for the radio, man. You know, so that.
But it was kind of a shock that Detroit radio actually gravitated towards it.
Yeah.
That was a little bit of a shock.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was around. You know, that was around the time when artists here was like, "Yo, man, why the fuck the radio don't play Detroit music?" And then they was like, "Okay, for every hour on the hour, we're gonna play a Detroit song, and whatever sticks, we're gonna put it in rotation." How long did that shit last?
I don't even remember that.
Point exactly. My fucking point exactly, man. Fucking radio, man. I can't even tell you the last time I listened to the radio, bro.
Me neither, man. I got my iPod, hooked up in my car and listening to music or podcasts.
Man, I'm fucking either listening to Sirius XM, the fucking politics channel, bro. POTUS and shit like that. I'm getting old, man. I'm an old man.
And we're all getting old.
Yeah. I love it, though.
We're all getting seasoned, man. It's like...
Yeah.
It's funny. Like, at times you're like... You get those feelings where you hate getting old. But then when you start getting there, you're like, you know what?
This shit is kind of fresh.
This shit's kind of fresh because shit that you were tripping about when you were younger...
You'd be like, man, you was really tripping on that shit?
I was tripping about that shit?
Like, what the fuck?
And with me, like, okay, I'm 34 now, and I'm literally gonna probably mention this on every podcast that I have, is that for the past year I've been free of all this, but before that, I was in this weird, horrible relationship with this girl for a few years.
Oh no!
And it was just sucking the life out of me.
Yeah.
And
that's not good, bro.
And I was just, man, losing money and just my soul and my mind was tearing away, So I finally just cut her off about 12 months ago. And I'll say this, these past 12 months has been the most productive of my adult life.
So you can look back and see that shit was hindering your progression.
Yeah, because even before that, and not just girlfriends or girls I was dating, just female friends.
Right.
A lot of them were taking up a lot of my time and energy. And you need that me time. You need to have your by yourself meeting every day. Yeah, but it's like when I still have to have a day job, but it's just and this is something that I've been thinking about recently, is that a lot of these girls would see me as K-Fresh the DJ, K-Fresh the writer. And that's what would attract them to me.
They want that K-Fresh up in them.
But Kelly Frazier...
They don't know who the fuck he is.
Is kind of different, man. I'm very chill. I don't talk that much. I don't really like to go out that much anymore.
Yeah.
I
ain't never liked to go out.
I'm really nerdy. I like watching professional wrestling, which is another aspect of what this podcast is about music and wrestling,
Oh, that's dope.
And there's things that are totally there's TV shows that are totally girly that I like to watch,
Like what? What shows?
Oh, my favorite shows of all time is stuff like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Gilmore Girls, One Tree Hill, Gossip Girl. Man,
yeah, that's some chick flicks.
Shit, I don't care, man. All that shit's incredible, and I don't care.
I watched Naked and Afraid.
I've heard about that show.
Hey man, me and Guilt, and we fucking Man, me and Guilty Simpson, we would fucking call each other like, yo, you know the new episode of Naked and Afraid coming on, man. That shit is some hilarious shit, bro.
It is, and it's shit like that, you know, that like that a lot of these girls wouldn't get about me is that I do all these this weird nerdy things and stuff, and a lot of times my mannerisms about stuff and way I react makes it feel like I'm not interested in them. But it's just that I'm just super chill, you know, and I'm just not gonna like, I'm not a thirsty dude at all.
Yeah.
To say,
Yeah, you always been a laid back cat, man. You know, that's what I always.
I'm not in anybody's
from
face.
you, man.
I'm not gonna be, you know, all up in the girl's face. Like,
Yeah, and you know, some females take that like, he's really not that into me, or I'm not what he wants, or some goofy shit like that. But all the time, you just a chill dude.
Yeah, I'm just like a chill dude. So like, after all this, I'm just like, I didn't learn shit about myself in my 20s, you know. It wasn't until like my 30s that I started like really learning about who I am.
Yeah,
that's
when it happens.
Yeah, and I realized how strong of a person I actually am, you know.
Yeah,
through all the bullshit that I went through, like I never just flipped out really. I never landed myself in the hospital or passed out or blacked out of stress and anxiety or whatever.
Right. Wake up in the padded room and shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was going there. It was on its way there, and I was just like, yo, I can't do this anymore, man.
Well, that's good. You knew that it was going there, and you did something about that shit.
It's like there's no and it's funny. Like, have you seen Straight Outta Compton?
Fuck yeah.
You know at the end when Dre was like, you know, he said something to the extent of like, you know, there's no price on a peace of mind.
It's not.
Yeah, that's how when he said that shit in the movie, I was like, dude, that's how I felt about my last situation, man.
Yeah, man. There's no price on that shit.
There's no, and I felt like my peace of mind was just ripping away, you know. So now it's just like I've been able to do so much shit this past, you know, year, and like I would have never been able to do this, you know, even start this podcast, you know, previously.
Preoccupied with that bullshit.
And I'm at this point too, and I feel like this is just a universal thing, and this is probably something you would totally agree on. It's just like if I have this momentum right now, I'm going this way. I have this momentum. If you want to be on board, you gotta have your own momentum too.
Yeah.
We can meet in the center. Blah blah blah. You know,
no coattail surfing.
No coattails. No stopping. No other direction that I don't even want to go.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah, just tunnel vision. You know, you can come along with me, and you know, whatever. We can chill, but you know,
yeah,
you gotta understand that I want to go this way.
I'm going this way.
I'm going this way. All right, these days you do have some new projects come out. You have a new single that's well, by the time this comes out, it'll already be out.
Yeah, yep. I got a new project, the rededication to the suckers. It's a U.S. version and it's a U.K. version, and it's all produced by this unknown producer from the UK. His name is Agor. He's about to fuck everybody up.
And yeah, you got a new single that they're gonna drop also.
Yeah, Revolver. Yep, the first single is Revolver. That drops next Friday.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, it'll already be out.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, Revolver, man, it's a crazy joint.
Yeah, Revolver's on there. Then you have do you have All Madden on that?
Yep, All Madden's on there. That's the B-side. Yeah, all produced by Agor, producer from the UK.
How did you meet Agor?
Well, I actually met him when I was on tour in Europe, as usual. And I met him through another artist, the UK artist. His name is Iron Braids. And he produced a track for me and Iron Braids. But he was young, you know what I mean? And he started sending me shit. You know, I would listen to it and be like, yo, man, that's dope, man. But I know you can do something better than that. You know what I mean? So I was like, I was like the his conditioning coach. You know what I mean? He would send music, and I would, you know, it would be dope, but I just knew that, you know, he was young, so I knew that, you know, he was growing, and I used to tell him that, like, yo, man, you fucking only 18 now, bro. When you get in with a few years from now, you're gonna be a fucking monster.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah, so over the years, he just been growing, and now he turned into a full-grown monster. So it's time to unleash him to the world.
What's the Revolver track about?
The Revolver track is just really about, like, it's just really about talking about, you know, what I've been doing, you know, since I haven't, you know, been putting records out, and just really just raw lyricism, man. I'm just trying to the lyricism is what I'm focusing on with the Revolver, man. You know, it's just not no ABC ass shit. It's about style and lyrics on that song.
What about All Madden?
All Madden, I mean, that was that's like a it's like a mini movie, you know what I mean? Just talking about really these garbage ass rappers that's out here, man. You know, a lot of people they just talking a lot, you know what I mean? Just rapping. And you know, I'm doing shit. While y'all rapping, I'm doing shit. And that's the whole basis of All Madden. While y'all talking it, we doing it.
What do you got? What projects do you got next after all this?
Man, I got quite a few projects down the pipeline. I got after the rededication drops, me and Casual from Hyro, we got an album. We got a group called Ron John Bovey.
Oh, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Nah,
Yeah.
Casual crazy, man.
Yeah, man.
He's always had dope shit.
Yeah, that's my dude right there. We got a record that's coming out right after that, and then I got another project that's coming.
I feel like Casual kind of had in many ways a similar career as you had.
Pretty much.
He's kind of like that cat that always had respect, always had classics, but was still very underappreciated.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. The rap god.
Cat's over here playing with the chords.
Gordo's crazy.
Gordo the cat.
Yeah, man. We got the Ron John Bovey project. Then we got the I don't know what we calling it, but me and this DJ, he's a producer out of Berlin. His name is DJ Dister. We just finished a project too. That's coming out after that. Yeah, man, and I'm you know, I got my own label now, so I'm just looking for dope music, man, to put out, man. I just want to put some good material out.
Right. Yeah, well, I'm about to wrap up this podcast. You know, kind of just plug what you gotta plug. Where can they find you on social media, the internet, whatnot? Plug your shit.
Okay, I'll plug my shit. You can find me on what is that? The Facebook.
The Facebook?
Yeah,
I never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a
thing.
Yeah, it's a cool site, man. I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi on there, or you can find the Phat Kat, PhatKat, Facebook. What is that? Instagram, Ronnie Euro on Instagram, and Ronnie Euro on Twitter. Or you can go to the RonnieEuro.com and pre-order all that new music that's coming out.
Well, that's awesome, man. It's been great, talking with you, man.
No doubt, man. We got to do this more often, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. You'll definitely be a return guest as long as this, podcast gets popping, But I'm glad you're one of my first guests.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's really how could I say it? It's just fucking. The shit is dope, man. I mean, being one of the first guests, and being one of the first guys that you ever used to deal with back in the day, man. So it was. It's kind of fresh.
Yeah, and kind of going back to that, what we first talked about was at that time with my site Renaissance Soul. Then we had RonnieCash.com.
Yep.
But then we had all these other Detroit sites, like the Michigan Hip Hop.
Yep.
Graffiti had his Break Bread.
Yep.
There's a couple other.
BreakBread.com.
Like none of us had high traffic, but what our impact was collectively is that we forced the music industry, the media, to fuck with Detroit hip hop. Because now Detroit hip hop is on every blog.
Yeah.
And like after a while I was like, dude, I'm like I for a little while I got like pissed all of a sudden because I'm like, man,
like motherfuckers is front.
No, I got pissed at this one point because I was just like, at first I was like, motherfuckers are front, but then I was like, all of a sudden all my homies were getting all these exclusives on these big sites, and I'm like, and they weren't giving me the exclusives, and I'm just like, dog, why don't any of my friends give me these exclusives now, man? And I got super frustrated with that because, like, when MySpace came out, it kind of fucked my game up,
Because MySpace fucked up your game.
Yeah, MySpace kind of fucked up my game because for all us Michigan, like, hip hop websites, we were like the only game in town, for getting all your music on the internet. Then all of a sudden MySpace hit.
RenaissanceSouls.com was the shit.
And soon as MySpace hit, nobody gave a fuck about any of us anymore.
Like, man, I can find them on MySpace.
It's like I can just upload my own shit now,
Yeah.
I can go talk to Lord Finesse and shit on my own and stuff now.
Yeah, that's real.
It was crazy though, man. But it was like, but you definitely had an idea to be a part of it.
No doubt,
with this small group of people that we all really forced the music media to fuck with Detroit hip hop because they weren't at all
they weren't checking.
None of those hip hop websites weren't at all. It was just if it wasn't Marshall, Kid Rock, or Jack White,
It was like, man, I don't give a fuck about that.
No, they weren't even giving a fuck about it. So it was it's cool to like come like full circle and still like have you as one of my first guests on this like next chapter of my
the next chapter
of my media career.
Yep, it's dope, man.
But thank you, man. And,
man, thank you, man. It's glad to be a part of this shit, man. And I had to hit you off with the Jewels first.
No doubt. So that was the interview with Phat Kat, really good homie of mine. So go cop that Rededication to Suckers right now. Support Detroit hip hop. If you'd like to support the Fresh is the Word podcast, you can go to our website, which is freshasthepodcast.com. And there's a link at the top that says support the podcast. And on that page, there is a PayPal link that you can donate to. Or there is a Amazon link on there that you can use anytime that you want to purchase anything on Amazon. Use that link. And after you make your purchases, Amazon will shoot some commission back to me. That will just go to help the show. Also, I definitely appreciate all the listens. And if you definitely want to share the links to the website, freshasthepodcast.com, or any of the links on SoundCloud, that's definitely appreciated and will definitely help support the podcast. You can also reach Fresh is the Word on the social medias at Instagram and Twitter at Fresh is the Word 1. That's Fresh is the Word number 1. And on Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/freshasthepodcast and give us a like on that page. We're also on iTunes and Stitcher Radio, so go ahead and search Fresh is the Word on there, and go ahead and subscribe to us. And it also would be very helpful if you go onto iTunes and give us a 5-star rating and throw some comments on there. Thanks for listening. See you soon.
Fresh is the word.